I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see, we do have an updated agenda as of this morning. It came in. So if you may need an updated agenda, they're the ones with the yellow highlight on the back table. All the commissioners should have an updated agenda. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Drew, can you lead us to the flag over here?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we do roll call of the commissioners?
Chairman Robb,
Here.
Vice Chairman Drew,
here.
Commissioner Bliss,
Here.
Commissioner Lane, here, Commissioner Macbeth,
Here.
Commissioner McNinch,
He is absent today. He'll be absent this whole weekend.
Commissioner Morai,
Here.
Commissioner Wallace,
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here. Okay, County Advisory Board President, can you please stand and introduce yourself?
Paul Dixon Clark. Juliana Carson. John Reed Washington.
Brad Johnston, Lyon.
Much Miller.
Jim Strozzi, Knight.
Mitch Elko. Jim Pershing.
Well, y'all couldn't sit in the middle and have it spread out, so I'm gonna have a hard time keeping track here, but we have video monitors today, just to let you know, so, I'm gonna rely on everybody around me to keep track of who's raising their hand. You're spread out, we have video monitors and everything else, so. Is there any County Advisory Board present in, on the video monitors? Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to parts of agenda item number 1, Wayne Kirch Award presentation. I sit on the Wayne Kirch Award Committee along with Commissioner Wallace, and I would have to say that it's one of the more difficult tasks that we have been assigned. A lot of people put a lot of work into the wildlife resources of the state of Nevada, and that should be recognized. And then their peers nominate them, and the peers put a lot of work into the nomination forms and everything. And I wish there was a way to recognize everybody that, like, we only have one award. This year, the award is going to a very deserving individual. Department staff is nice enough to put together some words for me to say about Mr. Elmore. And Ken Gray, supervisor in Eastern Region biologist, says Brian Elmore is his reliability above everything else that really stands out with Brian Elmore. Work ethic, attention to detail, and biological process have made him instrumental in documenting the impacts of the extensive wildfires in sage-grouse populations. We do not hesitate to assign Brian to be one of the key members of our team. Ken also recognizes Mr. Elmore's help in rough grouse reintroductions, California quail releases, and other big game disease and transmission testing projects that the department's done. Well beyond what the department has put down in this, I want to talk about personally. I've known Brian and Rick and their family for quite a while, and it is very evident how important this is. And in one of my conversations between the deadline of when the votes occurred by the committee and the information being released, Rick called and said, "Do you have any results yet, Jack?" And I told him I didn't, and he said, "This is really important to our family." And he meant that, and you can see today how important it is to the Elmore family. I mean, there's a ton of them here. Their family goes way back in Nevada. I know that my family ran across their family in the 1800s. They're from the same part of our little state here. So family and Nevada is, I know why the Elmore family does it, and that's above all everything. And Brian, I can't say enough. If you want to come on up, don't know how we get this mic on. But Brian, I can't thank you enough for the work you've done for the state of Nevada, the sage grouse, NBU, everything you've done. You're one of the most deserving individuals of this award I've ever seen. So
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for that. And I've been told by Mr. Toulouse that now when you show up to these projects, you need to have official attire on. It has department logo on it, and it says volunteer. And you do more than volunteer. You're a big part of what we do in the Eastern region, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have anything to say about Ryan? Again, it is one of the most rewarding things to be able to pass out award like that to somebody so deserving of it. And like I said, yeah, I know it's more about family. It was important to Rick, and it's important to your whole family. And, I anticipate we may have another Elmore in the future get this award, maybe a few generations down the line, but I know it's about teaching your kids the right thing and everything, so appreciate it.
Yeah,
Commissioner Drew?
just quickly, I mean, it's always nice to start off these meetings with a great story, and I think what makes our state and our wildlife resources so great are people like the one that just won the award and their family. So congratulations, and I think that's really what it's all about. So.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we're gonna move on to agenda item number 2, approval of agenda. Like I said, we have an amended agenda. Does anybody have any questions about the amended agenda?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'd like to encourage adding that item that has been added to the amended agenda between item 5 and 6, which is emergency addition of Hunt Unit 267 to the Moapa Valley Turkey Hunt based on a unit realignment that excluded Overton Wildlife Management Area from the intended hunt unit area.
Okay, any further discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, it is an action item. Any public comment on the amended agenda or the agenda in general? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for a vote. For a motion.
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed unanimous. We'll move on to item number 3, member announcements. Any commissioners have anything they want to bring forward at this time? It's not on the agenda. Commissioner Moran?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a lot of people know, recently the deadline for the sage grouse draft EIS was completed, and the Nevada Department of Wildlife submitted comments. And in those comments, there were references that made to livestock raising that offended many ranchers. I've spoken to Director Wasley about it, and he explained to me the basic approach that NDOW took in submitting those comments. And to put it lightly, these comments created quite a stir in my neck of the woods, anyway. And so consequently, the Cattlemen's Association responded to those comments with a letter to Director Wasley and a media release. In my opinion, the Cattlemen's Association is the largest voice in the state of Nevada to represent mainstream ranching. And this decision to write the letter and send the media release was not a knee-jerk reaction. It was made by a board of directors which consisted of 23 members voting, and they had a meeting with considerable thought and discussion before this happened. As a result, Director Wasley and the Cattlemen's Association Executive Committee are going to have a meeting to resolve this situation. And I'm optimistic that they can come together and find the solutions to move forward. I trust in Director Wasley to represent NDOW in a fair and honest manner. And I also trust the Executive Committee of the Cattlemen's Association to do the same. And later on our agenda today, Dr. Spratling will have a presentation as to the benefits of ranching to wildlife that I believe will shed some light on why these comments offended our industry the way they did.
Okay, any other commission comments or anything you need to bring forward?
Elko has a comment, please.
Oh, we're still in commission comments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have any comments? Seeing none, now we'll move on to advisory boards. Manage wildlife. Come on up, Mr. Reed.
John Reed, Washoe Cab. We addressed the letter from the National Cattlemen's Association because that also happened. The day we had our meeting was when Gerald Lent's letter was published in the Reno Gazette Journal, for those that may or may not have seen it. And we just came to the conclusion that there were probably more positive ways to handle this all the way around, and we kind of were hoping that those of us that know ranchers or ranchers that know sportsmen can do what they can to lower some of the tone and the rhetoric at this critical time in the sage grouse. This is the worst possible time to have a food fight. The second thing that was brought up and continues to be brought up, and I'd still like to see it on the agenda here, is at Washoe Lake. We've got a bunch of feral horses running around. There are 3 organizations that are involved with this. I think Department of Wildlife, Department of Transportation, which is supposed to keep 300 acre-feet in the lake, and that's not doing that, and the State Parks Association. So we're going to ask to get a representative from NDOW at our next meeting, and I might try to bring in somebody that knows about their stuff, but the longer that situation festers, the worse it's going to get, and we'd like to see the commission take this one on and see if we can get those horses out there. Thank you.
Come on up.
Joe Krim, Persian Cab. What I'm here is to, Right Patch this year is looking, they got 7,000 feet of water in there. No more is coming in, so the lake is going to stay pretty dormant this year. We were looking for the commission maybe to see, or the NDOW to maybe adjust the fish limits for there, because by the end of the summer, by the time it gets hot, those fish are going to be floating if they're not taken out. NDOW went in and took out 14,000 pounds of carp out of it this year so far. But we still think that the game fishers that are in there would be better suited for somebody to catch than just to be floating in the bank.
Mr. Dixon, and then Mr. Johnston.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark Cab. There were a couple of one agendized and one non-agendized item at my meeting the other night. that came up, and I just wanted to alert the commission. There'll be things that I'll be putting on my future agenda for action, to give you guys some stuff on, or if you wanted to get people doing background. One of them had to do with, in the future, looking at a spring youth turkey hunt at Overton, and I included in my action report a write-up by Kenson Lee for you guys to look at. And it's something we should be thinking about as we go into next year, but I wanted to keep a tickler on there because at least one commissioner won't be around next year, Commissioner McBeth, who's always been our kind of a tickler guy to make sure things get done. The other one is that in Clark County, we've had in Spring Mountains a fair amount of poaching going on, and that tends to go on with people spotlighting at night. And so most of the time when the game wardens come up or call, they basically say, well, if we go out and look, unless they actually physically have an animal in their vehicle, they just tell us they're spotting for coyotes. So we're going to have a discussion down at Clark, and I'm going to ask Rob to have his officers kind of give us some background on that. But I'd like to have a meaningful discussion about spotlighting at night, especially in areas where we're having a lot of poaching around populated areas, and to see what we can do to, I don't know if we eliminate it or we do something to change what we're doing in spotlighting so we can reduce the amount of poaching that's going on in areas. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Brad Johnston, Lyon County. I just want two quick items. One, I wanted to follow up on the email that I sent to all the commissioners, and hopefully it reached all the CAB chairmen, about addressing this controlled goose hunt at the Mason Valley Wildlife Management Area. We brought it up last year, and really we brought it up too late, I think, to vet it through the public process. So we hope to get on the agenda. We set forth a proposal that we think should meet the needs of everyone. Our biggest concern is this area being shut off to the public. My understanding is unless you have this permit for the controlled goose hunt, you can't even enter this area, the wildlife management area, for approximately 3 months, and we need to address that. So hopefully this can be vetted through the CABs. Any of the CAB chairmen can contact me if they have further questions, and I can try to explain our position or provide further information if my email was unclear, and then hopefully we can get it on a future commission agenda. The second thing is that during our meeting, we went through the letter from the Cattlemen's Association and looked at various things. We understood reaction from the cattlemen, and we just hope that, I'm encouraged to hear that the meeting's going to occur, because at our CAB level, it was a matter of, if there's miscommunication, let's clarify the miscommunication. If it's not miscommunication, issues need to be resolved, we need to get them resolved. We don't need to see the division between the department and the public and the cattlemen on that issue. So encouraged to hear that the meeting is going to occur. I wanted to express that as we address the issue at length at our CAB meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mitch Bizzetti for the Oakland County CAB. We had a discussion, obviously, over the EIS on the sage grouse and the Nevada Department of Wildlife's comments. Our board didn't make a decision to support or exactly what to do, but we had a great conversation, and out of that conversation came a few things that we felt in Elko County that was really important. We felt that public land grazing is a valuable economic resource for our county, and that cattle grazing utilizes a renewable resource, which is extremely important for our county. And that we wish that the NDOW would have supported option E more than D and B. With that being said, for Elko County, we need to remember that cattle grazing, recreation, hunting, fishing, mining, tourism, oil and gas, exploration, all promote creating decent work, sustainable livelihoods, rural development, food security, land reform, and build cohesive and sustainable communities. Furthermore, rural Nevada needs these core pillars to promote growth and economic expansion and security. If we lose one pillar, public land grazing, growth in rural Nevada and its communities will suffer greatly. That is why we feel and are grateful that the department and the ranchers are going to meet and hopefully come up with some common ground to solve this issue for both the sage grouse and the people of Nevada. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gil?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Gil Yannick, Carson Advisory Board. A little good news. We had Mr. C.K. Bailey, another winner of the Kirsch Award, generally comes to our meeting. And this past week, C.K. made a comment that he's got 20 trout in the classroom, tanks full of fish, well, small little fish. And he'll have all the students, bring them. We usually go to Washoe or Davis Creek and put give the kids the opportunity to put them into the water. So I thought, it's something nice to happen, and he's a tireless worker, and he's really proud of that, the Kirsch Award. So I can understand why somebody's family would be here as prevalent as they were this morning. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other cabs? Comments? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, approval of minutes from the December 7th, December 8th meeting. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Okay, seeing none. Any public comment on the minutes as presented? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner McBeth, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Okay, we're going to move on to our emergency item on the agenda. Emergency addition of Hunt Unit 267 to the Moapa Valley Hunt due to a previous unit realignment that excluded Overton Wildlife Management Area from the intended hunt unit. Wildlife Staff Specialist Sean Espinoza.
Members of the commission, Sean Espinoza, Upland Game Staff Specialist for the record. This amendment would in fact add 267 to the unit group designation for the Moapa Valley Hunt area. Just a little bit of description of the urgency of the issue. The season does begin tomorrow. We have 3 resident and 1 non-resident tag holder, as well as a heritage tag holder that's interested in hunting that unit. The other issue too is that 267 now contains basically the only public lands access within the Moapa Valley Hunt unit area, which is the Overton Wildlife Management area. Current season and bag limits right now are regulated under CR 12-06, which was passed back in June 23rd, 2012. We've had a couple amendments to that CR. Number 1 was back in 2012, also in September, and that amendment was to close Hunt Unit 031 to sage grouse hunting because of the Holloway fire. And we've also had one more amendment, which was June 22nd of 2013, to amend some sage grouse, blue grouse, and turkey seasons. Sandwiched in between those amendments was a unit boundary change that occurred in September of 2012. Through the past couple of years, we just missed that Overton was actually now in Unit 267, where traditionally it was in Unit 272.
Okay, any commission comments on our emergency agenda item? Okay, seeing none, do we have any public comment in Reno on our emergency agenda item? Seeing none, do we have any comments from Elko on our emergency agenda item? Okay, and I can't see Clark on the monitors. Does anybody in Clark have any comments? Hearing none, I will bring it back to the commission for a motion or discussion if we need to. Commissioner McBeth?
I'll move to approve the emergency addition of Hunt Unit 267 to the Malacca Valley Turkey Hunt due to the unit realignment, which excluded Overton Wildlife Management Area from the Hunt Hunt area. In other words, that Overton Wildlife Management Area was formerly in 272, and we're now in 267. So the intent was all along in the descriptions of the hunt that the Overton Wildlife Management Area was going to be included. So this is just lining up the unit with the unit group.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wallace, or by Commissioner McBeth, a second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. We're going to move on to